What's going on, guys? This is Miasin and welcome to my updated Galaxy or Photon deck profile. Well, Galaxy slash Photon. It's the combination of both. I mean, let's not discriminate the actual Photon monsters in this deck. Actually, I think I play more Photon than Galaxies. That's pretty hilarious. But anyways, before this video starts, make sure you like and subscribe. Check me out on Twitch and Instagram. Let's try to get this video to 1,000 likes, because as soon as we get that, I will be making a beautiful live stream on this deck. Absolutely don't want to miss that, because this deck is the goo, man. It's freaking fun, and it's actually extremely consistent, because you can win with only one card now. Yes, and the combos don't suck, because you have Recursion, you have like actual interruptions going first. And going second, I mean, pretty much everything in your extra deck is a big boy that can deal a lot of damage and destroy a bunch of stuff. So, yeah, let's get right into it. Alrighty, the first monster that I'm playing is Galaxy Eye's Afterglow Dragon. So if I control a Galaxy Eye's monster, could even be the Soul Flare Dragon, or the Galaxy Eye's Photon Lord, I can summon the Afterglow from my hand in defense, and then when it is detached by Xyz material to activate its effect, I can special summon a Galaxy Eye's Photon Dragon from the hand or deck directly, and then double the attack of all my number monsters. That is absolutely freaking stupid. So this card is really nice. I like to play the 3. It's also a good discard off of Galaxy Soldier, so that you can maybe revive it back with the Summoner, because you can actually. It revives back any Galaxy or Photon monster. Very freaking nasty card. And then the Summoner can also make it level 4 so that you can overlay and then detach it and use its effect right away to summon the Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon. So that's a pretty nice. Now I'm playing 3 Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon, but I'm not gonna lie, there might be a world in which this card could actually be played at 2 instead. I am definitely open to that, so if you think that should be done, let me know your feedback in the comment section below. But this card is not too bad to draw. Again, it can be a discard fodder for your stuff, so that you can revive it back easily. And when it is underneath an Xyz monster, that Xyz monster typically gains a very important effect that just makes it like way nastier than it would be if you didn't have it. So this is the reason why it's there, kind of just to make your cards better. And if you have access to this card, you can, well, it's pretty much like a shortcut to use some powerful effects like the Soul Flare Dragon, because otherwise you would have to like discard 2 cards if you want to destroy a monster on your opponent's field during their turn. So very interesting card, well, important card for that, for these scenarios. And now for the other Galaxy, well, big boys, one Photon Emperor, which has a very good effect when it's sent to the graveyard, except from the field, and you have another Photon or Galaxy monster revived back for free in defense, and also it's like a kind of like a Gem Knight, Seraphonite on the field, so you can get an extra normal summon of a light monster after it was normal or special summoned. So very cool card. And the Galaxy Brave is just an extender in the hand, doesn't really do too much else. So that's it for the level 8s, and now for the other monsters, 3 Galaxy Soldier, but everybody knows this card, so I'm not even gonna bother explaining what it does. I do not play Cyber Dragon Infinity and Nova in the extra deck, because ironically, this deck is usually locked under Galaxy and Photon monsters for the full turn, not for the rest of the turn. So you can't even go like Infinity and then activate Trance. It would not work, unfortunately. So it's also very neggy. Like, you would have to go Galaxy Soldier, search Galaxy Soldier, and then discard another card just to make one negate. It's just not really worth it when you can search other cards that actually generate you advantage instead of making you discard more cards just to end on one negate, when honestly you can easily make Harbinger and Galaxy Eyes Photon Lord in this deck. So yeah, 3 is still good, but you could actually get away with only playing 2. And now for Photon Thrasher, also everybody knows what this card does, but in this deck it's way better than it would be in a deck like, you know, back in the days, ABC 2016. This card was only really a special summon, and that's all for like an Xyz material of like Bujinte Tsukuyomi. But in this deck, it's an actual Photon monster, so you can use it to equip the Orbital from your hand to it, so that you can start playing, or special summon the Vanisher. And then the Vanisher, whenever you control a Photon or Galaxy monster, you special summon it from the hand for free, and you special summon you search a Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon from the deck to the hand. So very interesting card as well. It's definitely needed at 3 because it searches a card and it doesn't take up your normal summon. So very good thing about this card. And now 2 Galaxy Summoners, so this card does take your normal summon, but on normal or special, you can revive back a Photon or Galaxy monster in the grave. In defense position, doesn't negate the effect, which is really nice, and it has another ignition effect on the field, which allows you to target another light monster and make it level 4 until the end of the turn. So this card is actually extremely good, and it replaced the usage of Galaxy Knight completely. This card is just so much better because you can revive back way more cards than Galaxy Knight, which can only revive back Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon. And I'm also playing triple Photon Orbital. Also, everybody knows what this card does, even non-Galaxy player. because this was used in ABC when we still had Union Carrier. They were equipping it and then searching Galaxy Soldier so that they can discard 2 pieces and then make Infinity and get the letters in the grave to make ABC Dragon Buster. But we no longer have Union Carrier. Unfortunately, it really sucks because Union Carrier would have made this deck so much better. But it's not the end of the world. I mean, this deck can still easily be played, even without Union Carrier, thanks to the new support again. But if one day we get Union Carrier in exchange of, like, Dragon Buster Destruction Sword, oh my god, this deck is going to be stupid consistent. And finally, the last monster that is worth explaining is Photon Jumper. So whenever it is sent to the graveyard, not necessarily by a card effect, so you can detach it or, like, discard it for Twin Twister, and it still gets its effect. You search any Photon or Galaxy Spell or Trap card directly from the deck to the hand. It also has another random Battle Fader-esque effect, but it's not super relevant. Anyways, for the hand traps, I'm on triple Ash and then triple Imperm. I don't really think playing Bestials would be too good, but you could try, I guess. I just don't really... I don't know if I'm a big fan because they kind of conflict with Photon Thrasher, and if you're locked under the only Galaxy and Photon monsters, that's the worst thing that can happen to you. So these hand traps are generic, allows you to cover more ground and maybe beat those bad matchups like, I don't know, things that would prevent you from special summoning and things that are just super generic but not super explosive. And for the spell cards, this deck actually plays a lot of really nasty spell cards. So Photon Thanks Sanctuary, this card is not once per turn, summons you 2 tokens in defense. They cannot attack though, but they do have 2000 attack, so they can be tributed for Galaxy Ice Photon Dragon, which is the only usage for 2 monsters with 2k attack that can't attack. And they also can be used as synchro materials, which is funny because they're tokens, so they also cannot be used as Xyz materials, meaning that their only usage would be tributing for Photon Dragon or linking off for Soul Flare Dragon. Regardless, this card is very important to allow you to easily have access to Soul Flare without having to use your normal summon, so it's a great recovery card as well. And then 1 Reinforcement of the Army allows you to search a Thrasher as well as Vanisher, just not these cards because that's a Spellcaster and this is a Machine, and this is a Warrior, so you can technically search it as well. 1 Galaxy Expedition, it's once per turn, and it's a little bricky because you have to rely on having a level 5 or higher Photon or Galaxy monster on the field, so I think 1 copy should be enough, but it's a really high ceiling card if it does resolve. And also, it doesn't lock you under Galaxy or Photon monsters only, you know, unlike the Galaxy Trance. So this card is really nasty, Monster Reborn, and summons a monster from the deck by paying 2k, but again, it does lock you under Photon and Galaxy. And now the best card in the deck is Galaxy 100. Upon activation, you flush your deck for a Photon or Galaxy card. Typically, it's going to be the Jumper, but sometimes it's the Emperor as well, because the Emperor is a level 8 that revives itself back. But the Jumper searches you a Galaxy or Photon card, well, Photon Spell or Trap. So, in other words, you search the Galaxy Trance and then you summon back the Jumper, as well as the Summoner, and then you go for the Galaxy Photon Dragon, then detach, and then whatever, play from there. So if you haven't watched my combo video, go watch it now. It's really worth your time. By the way, Galaxy 100 also makes your opponent lose cards from the extra deck, which is really important. You banish them, and you can also special summon number monsters from your opponent's extra deck, which means that if your opponent has like Baguska or something, you can summon it, and even with no materials, Baguska still has the negation effect. So that's really freaking filthy. And that's it for the main deck. Now for the extra deck. I don't think most of these cards really are worth an explanation or will be summoned often enough, but whatever. So Zeus, obviously, play a bunch of Xyz monsters in this deck. Galaxy Eyes Cypher Blade Dragon, you overlay it on top of a Galaxy Eyes monster, and then you can destroy another card your opponent controls. And then Galaxy Eyes Full Armor Photon Dragon, basically the exact same thing. So yeah, I mean, a bunch of cards in this deck just do the same thing. Prime Photon, you're never really ending on this card because you're overlaying the Galaxy Eyes Prime Photon on top of that. So this is going to have like a huge effect. If you summon this card, you win the game. It's that simple. It's gonna have like 11,000 attack and get an attack like 3 times. And it's unaffected by your opponent's monster effects while it has the Galaxy Ice Photon Dragon underneath. Like, yeah, good luck winning if this card is summoned. Well, I'm talking to my opponent at this point. Galaxy Ice Cypher Dragon, it's kind of mind control, so it's a decent card, but it does lock you, unfortunately. But it does change the name of the monster that you steal to Galaxy Ice Cypher Dragon, which is relevant because now that it's a Galaxy Eyes, you can overlay on top of it, I think. Anyways, Harbinger, Galaxy Eyes Photon Lord, Baguska, double Galaxy Eyes, Galaxy Photon Dragon, it's not a Galaxy Eyes, unfortunately. And then Starleech Photon Blast Dragon, this card can summon the Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon from the hand, and also on your opponent's turn, you can revive it back from the graveyard or banished, so even if your opponent like Bestials or your Photon Dragons, it doesn't matter, you can still recur them back. And finally, the non-Galaxy or Photon monster, is a Biz Dweller, or Baguska also. But Harbinger is a Galaxy monster, ironically. So, yeah, I know, man. Nobody knows that. Everybody, like, kind of ignores it, and they're like, I mean, it's not a part of the archetype, but it randomly has Galaxy in its name. So, therefore, even if you use Trance, you can still legally summon our Hope Harbinger. And it's a number of monsters. So freaking convenient. And last but definitely not least, Double Soul Flare Dragon, very good recursion card. And the effect to destroy a special summon monster upon controls is really relevant. And when you have this with Baguska, it's pretty much like impossible to out. So yeah, 40, 15. And for the idea section, I mean, the Galaxy Knight's not really needed. The Nebula Dragon is no longer worth playing because of the new support. I used to play it in my old build. And then Galaxy Brave, I'm already playing it. Galaxy Wizard, meh. Draglubion, not really. I mean, you're usually locked again under Galaxy and Photon. So it's not really worth it. Divine Dragon Knight Felgrand sucks. Infinity and Nova, I'll explain that. Numeron Dragon with Draglubion, could make sense, but whatever. More copies of Lost Hope Numbers, why not? Desires, because you're playing a lot of like 2 and 3 of, so why not? And then Trade-In, because you play a bunch of level 8 monsters, but I also don't really recommend that. And then the third Trance and Call by the Grave. So that's pretty much it for this deck profile. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys very soon. Peace.